I do want to mention now, Kurt Mosser, Fred's here, and I'll let Fred to walk over here. Kurt Mosser, Representative Mosser, couldn't be with us. You know, it's interesting. In the district, as a candidate, Lynda Schlegel Culver. Lynda Schlegel Culver. I mean, all the signs, Lynda Schlegel Culver. Taking advantage of mom, dad, family, whatever, but let me just say it again. Lynda Schlegel Culver, okay? So in Harrisburg, things work on seniority. But if the seniority is the same within a class, then it goes on the alphabet, A through Z. So you got Keller, you got Mosser, they're thinking, okay, as far as, because they got elected at the same time. Well, guess how she decided that she wants to be known as in Harrisburg? Lynda Culver. Culver, Keller, Mosser. Not Keller, Mosser, Schlegel, Culver. So, just so you know, Dad, yeah. Interesting how she decided to do that. Normally, at this point, Representative Keller and I have a legislative citation that we present. John Moran and others up here have gotten a wonderful legislative citation, which I'm sure they proudly display. But two things. One, we adopted a rule a couple of years ago where we're not allowed to give fellow legislators a legislative citation. So, A, we can't do that. B, you may have heard that we don't have a state budget yet. So, I got an 8.5 by 11 white piece of copy paper, and I wrote on it, "Congrats, John R. Gordner." And Fred wrote, "Great job, Fred Keller." And on behalf of Representative Keller and I, we would like to present this sheet of copy paper with our writings on it to you.
Well, Chad, I'll help you out here a little bit. I'll extend the program. Okay. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of help. Like Chad, living in the Midwest School District, we're all shy, so I won't say much. But I did want to say a few words. I saw Joshua over here before the program, and you know he's very proud of his mother, as he should be. It's very difficult raising parents, and you've done a fabulous job. I'll tell you that right now. Having known Lynda as a legislator, we went to the same high school, but unfortunately we were a few years apart. I won't tell you she's older than I am. She's not, actually. but her dad, and I always get to see Mr. Schlegel, did a fabulous job teaching, but not just Lynda, all of us here in the Valley. And Lynda embodies what it's about to be a servant. I mean, there isn't anybody that is more deserving of this award, because she knows it's about people. And that's what she's dedicated her life to do, help other people. She did it when she worked with Merle. She does it when she volunteers. She does it with her family. And she does it for the many citizens of this valley. She has truly made an impact for the positive for our valley and our Commonwealth. And to that we owe you a great, great debt of gratitude and say thank you very much. That's great.
At this time, it is my honor to present John Moran. John is the president and CEO of Moran Industries and a past recipient of the Adam Smith Award. John?
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Lynda, before I get started today, you know I'm a businessman. Yes. And I just have a little business I need to take care of. I just wanted to give a shout out to Chad over there. Call me, please. You're my man, Chad. Call me. Those of you that know me understand my deep respect and friendship that I shared with Merle Phillips. Through that relationship, I had the good fortune to meet Lynda Culver. I spent many occasions discussing with Merle the value that Lynda brought to his office, either through her never-ending loyalty to Merle on all fronts, or her undying dedication to the many people that would come to Merle's office for help on various issues and problems. Over the years, Merle would tell me how special Lynda was and how she made his job easy. As the years passed, I became more and more aware just how special of a person Lynda truly was. I would watch her in action, dealing with people all the time with a positive can-do spirit. As it was becoming clear that the end of Merle's days in office were quickly approaching, Merle would tell me that Lynda was the perfect person to fill his shoes. Merle would say that Lynda truly cares about the people of this valley. In his mind, she could be the only one to carry on in his shoes. Merle saw important leadership qualities in Lynda and also saw the good heart that she possesses. And he knew that the citizens of this valley would be in good hands with Lynda as their representative in Harrisburg. I am often asked what the difference is between successful people and those that are not. And I consistently answer that successful people do things, not just talk about things without acting. The key is that you have to act on your dreams. And Lynda has consistently done this time and time again, while including her family, friends, and the residents of this valley. Lynda's dream was to become our state representative, and she took action by becoming a candidate for the 108th Legislative District. By doing so, she realized her dream in 2010, as she was elected to office and remains to this day our elected representative. Our community is a better place because of these actions and leadership. Lynda proudly chairs or serves on multiple committees in the House. It has been a pleasure to have watched Lynda's vision of finding solutions for the challenges facing the citizens of this region in Harrisburg. Lynda has proudly carried on her duty as our state representative and has made us all proud of her ability to protect our best interest. Today, I imagine in my mind's eye that my good friend Merle Phillips is in heaven, surrounded by some of his family and friends, along with a few of his favorite hunting dogs, looking down at Lynda with a sense of pride and accomplishment. I know that, I'm sorry, something happened here. I'm sorry, I lost my mic. I know that there is peace in Merle's heart because he knows that his people are in good hands today and that his Lynda is at the helm carrying on his work. I could list Lynda's many accomplishments, but we all know that she is our champion. And I, along with everyone in this room, am very grateful for all that she has done and for all that she continues to do. I can think of no better person to receive this award today, and it is my sincere wish that you, Lynda, continue to have many years of success and that your family is blessed with health and happiness. On behalf of EconomicsPA, it's my honor to present the Adam Smith Leadership Award to you today. Congratulations, Lynda, on receiving the Adam Smith Leadership Award.
Did not choose to use Culver. Our speaker decided, he called me and asked me all kinds of questions, and he said, do you hyphenate? I said, no. He said, well, here's the deal. I am not saying that whole name on the floor. You're going by Culver. So just the good things followed after I got to use it. So
Can you hear in the back?
Can you hear?
Okay. Well, we got thumbs, so if you want to
Proceed.
project, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here for the EconomicsPA luncheon and to be here to support me today as I receive this award. It's a little overwhelming to see a room this full with so many people that I think I have admired, I've used as my mentors, I've sought advice from, and I've just watched you grow as I've grown with you. So it is an honor to be sitting with such an impressive head table. And the room is full of my family, my friends, the students and educators who all make a difference in the community that we live in. A few months ago, Fritz called me and asked me to go to lunch with himself, John Moran, Senator Gordner, and Simona Lovick.
Can
Can you hear me now? No.
Testing? No. Go ahead. You were doing fine.
So, but actually, anybody in this room that knows Fritz, he didn't ask me to go to lunch. I got an email that said, give me dates for lunch. So I sent him the dates for lunch. And anybody who knows Fritz, does anybody ever do anything for Fritz? Do you remember him asking you to do it? Or do you remember just somehow you're doing it before you know that you've been asked? So everyone here is shaking their heads. So I asked him why, which I should have known better. And he said, well, we want to share your experiences with EconomicsPA with John. Let me try this one now.
I don't think it's...
How about this one? No?
You're fine. Keep going.
Okay. So unfortunately, we ended up having to cancel the lunch, and Fritz shows up with this beautiful plaque. So I looked at him, like, oh, it's very nice. And Fritz looks at me. So I'm like, he must want me to read it. So I skim over it, and I look up, I'm like, that's very nice. Again, Fritz is still looking at me, and I'm like, okay, I'll look back down. I'm like, oh, is this a prototype? Because I saw that my name was on it. And I think he was very patient with me, but I was thinking, oh my goodness. So that's when I realized it was actually for me, and I was very honored, moved, and I believe speechless was what I was. So the announcement went in the paper, and it became a little more real, and I started to stress a little bit, panic a little bit about, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to speak about this. And then when you look over the people that have received this award since 2002, many of them are in the room today, and I just feel it's really important for me to say their names. If they could just stand quickly, and we could give them a round of applause at the end. They are people that I think we all look up to, who all have made a huge impact on their communities, and I am just proud to be considered with them. So some of them aren't here, like the first recipient, Merle Phillips, my mentor, Gary Soika, Russ Fairchild, John Gordner, Susan McDowell, supposed to stand, Arthur Bowen, Kelly Smith, John Fisher, Mike Musina, Roger Haddon, John and James Apple, Skip Weeder, J. Donald Steele, John Moran, Dale and Matthew Miller, and Kendra Ocker. Can we give them all a round of applause? How about now? No, I won't have to yell as loud. That is, a Schlegel trait. Usually I don't have a hard time projecting. So with all of these people, you have to say to yourself, was this an award to honor what we've done? Or was this a challenge to make us continue to do more in our communities and include more people as we move forward? And that's how I'm choosing to look at this. It's our way of the award telling us to continue our commitment to community service, our compassion, and our philanthropy in our communities. So I was beyond touched to learn that John Moran submitted my name for consideration. And it means more to me than you will ever know. I've had the privilege of working for John Moran and his company for about a year when I left employment with the House of Representatives to run for the open seat in the 108th District. And I will disclose, which I don't disclose to many people, I entered that race pretty much kicking and screaming. I wasn't ready to step through that door, but I did, and I'm glad that I did. But I can tell you that there is a huge difference between public perception of somebody and the reality of actually knowing them. And all you have to do is spend 5 minutes with John, and you'll see his focus and his drive. But what is so evident if you spend any more time with him is his compassion, his belief in doing things the right way, and wanting to improve almost everything he touches. But the most important thing that you'll learn about him is his faith, and his commitment to his family is unwavering. And that's why I think I looked at him as a mentor. So it has been my honor to get to know you and your family, and my life is better for it, so thank you. So this is the part I might struggle with a little bit. The luncheon is extra special to me today because it is in honor of my former boss, my predecessor, Merle Phillips. Merle was so many things to me, and it is hard to describe our relationship. He was my boss, he was my mentor, he was a strong supporter, and he was my friend. He pushed me to be better, and he pushed me to step outside of the box. Oftentimes I didn't really want to, but he still pushed me to do that. And I'm glad that he did. And there isn't a day that passes that he doesn't enter my thoughts. So every time I speak, I carry a piece of him with me. This is the folder that we used to put all his speeches in, and he and I would do all of his speeches together. So every time you see me speak, I typically have my speech in this, whether I use the notes or not. It's a little, I guess, security blanket for me that I always carry with me. Merle's wife, Helen, wanted to be here today. She is traveling, so she's out of the state, but actually she was here on October 12th, because that's what it was on her calendar. So she was here, we were not, we're here, she is not. But we are fortunate to have two of Merle's granddaughters here with us today. Do you guys mind standing? Nikki Kreider and Lisa Hickey. Thank you so much for being here to support me. And thank you for accepting me into your family. Thanks. So I have to tell you, it is so much easier to give an award out than to receive one. I've struggled to come up with the right words, so for my message today, I talked to Fritz and John, and their message was, just tell your story. My husband's probably thinking, oh no, at this point. So my first thought was, what story? So I didn't say that to either one of them, because I was like, oh gosh. So I went home and asked my husband, we're in the kitchen, doing the supper thing, and I'm like, how do I tell my story? John and Fritz said to tell my story. My husband's first response was, what story? So I knew we might be in a little bit of trouble at this point. So I began reflecting on my life and my story. And everyone has a story, right? Everyone, young people, we have a story. I think I'm struggling with my story because I still think I'm in the prologue phase. A work in progress, a rough draft, I'm still under research. So as I reflected, I realized that this lunch was the same week as Veterans Day. And anybody who celebrates Veterans Day knows it's a really moving week. And my staff and I have had a really moving week this week. So I spent the last few days with many people who have answered the call of duty in our military and beyond. So to all of the veterans in this room, if you wouldn't mind standing up, we'd like to give you a round of applause for your service to this country. So thank you for your service. But what kept resonating with me all week long is the call of duty, the call of duty. What makes us answer to the call of duty in our everyday life? And I think the answer is much simpler than we think. It's a strong belief to do the right thing, to be passionate about something or a cause, and want to make the outcome stronger and better than when you started. So my story begins with my parents, Charlie and Elaine Schlegel, who are seated right over here. You guys want to raise your hands? My brother Chuck, my niece Jocelyn, and my husband and our son Joshua. So my mother tells me I was a pretty active child. I think that's like a quote for something else. And sometimes it might have been a little hard for my grandparents to want to watch us because I was a little active. So they got us a babysitter, and she's here, Trish Raw-Henninger. Where's Trish? Trish claims she taught me everything we know. But I'm pretty sure that I made Trish think about how much my parents were paying her an hour, and I bet she wishes she had had some economics courses with EconomicsPA to make those decisions. My parents taught me some very useful and very valuable lessons along the way, and I want to share a few of those because I think it's defined my story. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And I know you hear that all the time, but I think my entire family lives like that, and I just think the world is a much better place when you do that. You can't judge someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. And every time we try and help somebody at the office, I think my whole staff is very good at, we try and walk in their shoes so we can understand how to help them. This one comes straight from my father. The second you step out of your shoes or your position, someone will immediately be there to fill them. No one is that important that they can't be replaced. So we've always kept that in mind. I'm sure my son is going to roll his eyes at the next few because I've been saying them over and over and over. There is no one in this world that is better than you, and you are not better than anyone else. We all have different talents and gifts, and if we just learn to use them, we will all be better off. Compete against yourself, not other people. Competing against yourself forces you to continually evolve into a better version of yourself. And what builds character, ready, Josh? is not your success, it is how you respond to your failures. And you can't be successful without failing. So not always the easiest lessons to live by, but definitely tried and proven. And I've personally learned that oftentimes life is about the people that you meet and the impact they have on you. They help shape you into the person you are and the person you are yet to become. There are so many people here today that have made an impact on my life, pretty much the whole room and the head table, I have to say. But I would be remiss if I did not mention my coworkers who are all sitting here, who make us have a really strong office, and my campaign team, who is scattered throughout the room today. I am fortunate to have them with me. I just skipped a page, sorry. Their support, strength, and sage advice have definitely made an impact on my life. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this journey with me. It is so easy to give time to an organization that does good things and does them well. EconomicsPA is that organization that strives to financially educate our children to be strong, independent decision makers. It gives them the tools necessary to become economically savvy, smarter citizens, voters, consumers, and producers. A recent Dartmouth Universal Financial Study documented that more than half the adults interviewed in an extensive survey about personal finance could not correctly answer 2 questions about inflation and interest rates. Of those interviews, most didn't know the terms of their mortgages or their interest rates or what they were paying, and they could not explain what compound interest is. And on each of your tables, you'll find today an outline about 3 new programs that EconomicsPA has, and one is Mortgage, Welcome Home. So I'm guessing it's more than just our students that need that course, it's probably a lot of adults. 2 other new programs are the Economics of Coal, 1 lump or 2, and Potatoes, Can You Dig 'Em? I love that one. But there are several other programs to teach financial literacy, and we as a board are always looking for new ways to reach our youth and to educate the financial literacy. So I thank the board for allowing me to be part of the great organization, to Fritz and the whole economics organization. The program that you're probably most aware of is the stock market game, where participants are theoretically given $100,000 to invest in the stock market while competing against other students, schools, and legislators. It is just completely energizing to see how serious the students take the game, and it is also very humbling when they are really thumping you in the game, because you have to go visit them, and they're really good about telling you where you're at. So last year I did visit the 3rd grade class. Not only were they beating me, they were doing really well in the game, as you heard earlier, and they were eager to learn more about investing in money. But what really struck me is the kids were saying, you know, my grandma gets up with me every morning and we go over the stocks, or, you know, my parents and I talk about over dinner, or my older siblings are now getting involved. And these are discussions that are inspiring whole households to learn about financial literacy. So EconomicsPA is reaching beyond our children. Teachers commented on how odd it is to have 3rd graders leave their stock classroom, throw their books on, and start complaining about how bad their stock's going and their whole day's ruined. For the middle school students, I watched the stock market game re-energize and re-engage them in their learning process and help them understand the relevance of the math courses they have to take. And over the years, I've heard many success stories, but one that stands out you know, in particular to me, is a young man who, when we probably started in the schools, took the stock market game and loved it. After the game was done, he asked his father, hey, Dad, can we kind of continue on with this? I have a few dollars saved. So his mother said, I just let them go, thinking this is just another phase. She said over the years she'd heard him talk about stocks, but she just thought they were talking about him. And this is a young man that was in sports all year long, so couldn't commit to a part-time job. So he'd pick up golf balls at the local golf course when he could, mow lawns, rake leaves, plow snow for the neighbors. So you know he only had small amounts of money to invest. So I remember when he went to college, what he'd ask for Christmas, his birthday, Easter is money, nothing else, because he wanted to be able to invest his money. She still sort of dismissed it and, you know, ha ha ha, and gave him his money. So fast forward to his late 20s, at college, he's out of college, a few years working full time. He's living out of the area, unfortunately, and the housing market crashes. So he's looking for houses at that exact time. Finds a house that he perhaps could not have otherwise afforded, and his mother was very anxious, a little nervous about how was he going to pay for this. The down payment, the closing costs, my goodness, he's a single young man. And he took his mom aside and said, Mom, don't worry. You know all that dabbling I did in the stock market? Well, it was more than enough for my down payment and my closing costs, and I'm still invested. So there is a huge success story, and it's the importance of teaching the relevance of how these courses work for our children as they engage in their adulthood. So I'm going to quote Fritz when I'm closing here. He uses a quote by Arthur Levitt, former chairman of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. He said, the American economy is the 8th wonder of the world. The 9th is the economic ignorance of the American people. So for the last 65 years, Economics PA has been committed to changing that one child at a time. I want to thank you all for being here today and making this day so special for me. I want to thank you for your support to Economics PA. I want to congratulate the students and teachers who received awards today. Please continue to learn, grow, and inspire others. Thank you so much.